So hello everyone. How is everybody today? Good morning. Good mid-morning, I guess. 10 a.m., kind of the middle of the beginning of the day. As you can see as you can tell from the description of this video and the title and whatnot, I'm going to clear my throat. Oh my god. Uh, Today we're going to try to smooth that ABS print we did the other day of this little crossbow. And now my voice is like totally going. Awesome. Hey, what's up, guys? Mac, Dickie, Glenn. What's up, everybody? I did a test today because when I was looking at like how various people do acetone smoothing, some guys were saying it takes a while. So when I first woke up this morning, I took one of these kind of failed prints of this little crossbow we did, and I tried the technique that we were going to use today, and I just happened to like check on it, and I damn near completely melted this thing. I can't believe how, like, you can see in the camera here, it's smooth as hell. I mean, we definitely smoothed the shit out of it, but like if you can see on the underneath here, like how rounded it is, it was actually melting. Like I don't know if you can really see that, but it was like just completely melting, and it's like super soft now. And like some of these places actually like melted together and fused and stuff. So that was only about, if I had to guess, like maybe 30 minutes in the acetone kind of, not a bath. I was going to say a bath, but just with the acetone vapor. But so we're going to try this again, but we're going to do small time increments. Because this looks cool, but this print is totally non-functional now. And you can tell, like on the underside here, that's still like saturated with acetone. It's kind of like squishy. So even after drying for like another half hour, I think it still needs to sit and dry some more. I mean, maybe it'll regain some of the strength after it dries for a bit, but I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it. I think we just went a little too long. Hey, what's up, Holly? What's up, Marky? Marky and Dickface. Do I know you personally? Because that's something all my actual friends call me. Or did I mention that on stream? I don't remember, honestly. Dickface. So anyway, the way I did this, there's a lot of different techniques people use, and a lot of guys use like glass jars and stuff, but I really don't have anything large enough that I can use right now. So what I ended up using, this is the one I used the first time. This is just like an old, like Tupperware container, like an old cheap ass Tupperware container that I don't need for anything. I wouldn't use anything that you might want to use again, and certainly nothing you're going to use like for food prep. Like if you're planning on storing some lasagna later, I would not use the same Tupperware to do this. So, but the other thing that I wanted to try, and I think the reason that this happened so quickly is I'm sure a lot of you have seen videos where people do this and they got like hot plates or they yeah, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try to do something that would be easy and only use like the things we already have. So today we're actually going to use the build plate, the heated build plate of our MK2 as like a heat source to accelerate this process a little bit. And I guess I was just underestimating like how effective the heat transfer would be from the build plate into like our container, but it works. I can confirm that it works. Oh, I mentioned that. I was going to say, because I do know a couple marks. I didn't know if it was one that I actually knew in real life. Coming in here calling me dick face. So, I've got paper towels over here. I'm clearly going to need a drink, so we'll get that on hand. So all we're really going to need is some paper towels. Check. Another old shitty piece of Tupperware that we don't care if anything happens to. And some of these, like this is marked like with the type of plastic. That one actually wasn't, so to test it, I just kind of splashed some acetone in there and let it sit for a while and see if it melted. So we got an old piece of shit Tupperware. We've got a little bit of tin foil to make our little magic tray. And of course, some acetone. Don't mix up my water bottle in the acetone. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. That would not help the throat situation. So the first thing we're going to do is lay some paper towels down in here. And we always use these ones that like are half sheets. And when I put this in here, I'm going to like kind of offset it so that we have some of the paper towel going up the sides and the end. You know what I mean? Kind of like in the one corner. And then we'll take another sheet and offset it the other direction. To kind of get some paper towel up the sides and the ends to help, just help the vapor. And you probably don't have to use very much acetone. I was a little heavy-handed last time. But I want quick results, especially while we're doing this on stream. So we're going to use a little bit more acetone than you probably have to. I've seen people use like literally a capful. But we're going to be, we're going to get it in there. All right, so there's some acetone in there. And then just ease the paper towels down in. And then I was just kind of like letting that run around on the inside so we saturate our paper towels. But, I mean, I put a fair amount of acetone in there, but there's not like a ton. Like that. There's not enough to actually like run out. It's just getting around the paper towels a little bit. And then we're going to use my super secret technique. I use this a lot when I'm cooking stuff in the oven. We're going to take some, and this is really thin, cheap. See how poorly it ripped there? Really like thin, cheap, kind of like store brand aluminum foil. And rip it, fold it in half. And then we're going to do what's called like a fan fold, where we fold this up like maybe 3/4 of an inch, and then fold it back the other way, and then the other way, and the other way, until you've like folded your whole piece up. And then you want to kind of take this and separate it, and it'll give you like this nice, like cheap standoff. Like I said, I used to do this because I'm lazy when I was making stuff in the oven. And I probably could have made it a little bigger. We probably shouldn't have folded it in half, actually. That is easy enough to remedy. We'll just unfold that in half. Oh, now it's folded the wrong way. Okay, so that was a test piece, clearly. So now for the real piece, now that we've done our test. All right. So we'll do the same thing. We're going to do the fan fold. And then when we, you probably saw already with that other piece, it just wasn't quite big enough. If you do this and then fan this back out, it just gives you a nice little, like, standoff. I've seen people, like, do all kinds of weird stuff. Like, I think the very last video I watched, the guy had, like, a piece of wood with screws up through it, and he was using that to, like, set his prints on. There we go, that's not too bad. But you get the general idea. Now we have this nice little thing we can set in there where our print won't have a lot of, like, contact with anything. Kind of set it at an angle. And it'll just, like, keep it elevated and not let the acetone actually touch the print, because that is bad. You can see on this print where I bumped it a little bit against the side with the paper towel, and it kind of makes it ugly. So, I don't have anything here. So, we're going to do... Only one of these crossbows that we did is actually an ABS, and it's this one, this blue one. And you see, we did have it strung up. They're a cool little white string. And I think I linked this print in the description because this is a cool little print. I tried it in PLA and it didn't work out very well, but in ABS it works nicely. And then I also printed a slightly larger one, and this is in the Omni. This is the filament that's supposedly like a mix of PLA and ABS. And I didn't like this filament the first time I used it, and I think it was because my settings were off, but this print is like perfect. Because it's got like those really nice, crisp, hard edges like you tend to get with PLA, but it's got like the kind of extreme flexibility that you can get with like ABS. And I wanted to print this one bigger because like we had this little crossbow and we were messing with it, and I was like, why didn't they make it a little bit bigger and you could shoot like Bic pens or something with it? And that's exactly the size that this one is. And I don't have a pen here with me, unfortunately. Let's see if I can grab something to shoot. This isn't a Bic, but like here's a little pen. And you can see this thing actually has a moderate amount of power. This bigger one anyway. Yeah, these are a lot of fun. You could probably get yourself in trouble with this. But very cool little print. But unfortunately, we have to cut the string off of this one. So we'll chop the string off of it. The only thing I'm worried about is this little slider. I'm hoping this doesn't like fuse while we're doing the smoothing. And same with this thing, but in hindsight, like I'm going to leave this little like handle out. Because the other one with it tucked up, it kind of bonded to the body of the thing a little bit. So we're going to, I guess I should set this in here first. We have our little piece of Tupperware. I'm going to set our little tray in there. And then we're going to kind of place this in there so it's not touching anything. And I think that's good. Make sure our paper towel's tucked down in, and then we're going to put our lid on. And like I said, we're going to try using our heat bed as our heat source for this instead of using like a hot plate or anything. I just think that gets like a little bit dangerous when you're using a sealed container and such an aggressive source of heat. So, and this seems to work. And I have like all kinds of booms and stuff in the way here, but what we're going to do now is just set this back here. I have this preheated at 100 degrees Celsius, which you might not even need it that hot, but we're going to set this back here. And what time is it? We'll give that 5 minutes. We're going to give that 5 minutes because I am kind of, like I said, I'm kind of shocked how fast this test one I did this morning kind of melted. And I would guess it's going to take several hours for this to kind of dry out. I guess we can mess with this since we don't really care about this print now. Because like I said, this little like handle kind of bonded. And you can see it's kind of soft. It's like starting to pull away there, but I can't quite get it. Looks like we might be able to get it if I just force it. But all up in there, it kind of bonded. I know it's a little hard to see. And I can't center things to save my life when I have the secondary camera here. But all those moving parts kind of bonded together. Same with the slider. Like it's essentially fused permanently in place, which kind of stinks a little bit. And then these things are like super, super soft now. So we're going to try not to ruin this other print. Is the paper towel really necessary when you have a heat source? I don't know, honestly. It might not be. It very well might not be. Of course, my water softener is doing its cycle right now. Hopefully that's not too loud. Usually only takes like 30 seconds to start shining up. Well, let's check it, because it's been back there for what, maybe 2 minutes? Let's go ahead and check it. Don't. um, it is starting to get a little shiny already, and our Tupperware container, whew, it is starting to shine up a little bit. Oh, that is like gag inducing. Let's give it another minute. Because it doesn't need to be like a glass surface. I was just kind of hoping it'll like slightly improve the overall appearance of that little crossbow, and then also it should also slightly improve the structural integrity, like the strength and the interlayer bonding on those outer layers. Oh, don't be careful when you time your breathing around that stuff. Oh, that got me pretty good. But yeah, it could be the case. Like I said, this is the first time I've done this, and I did it like an hour ago. So it could be the case that if you're going to use the heat bed, which I think works out great, guys. I think that's sweet that we don't like if this works okay, we don't have to have like an external heat source or like a freaking hot plate or anything crazy. Because when I was thinking of doing this, I was trying to find like a jar that this would fit in. I don't quite have a jar big enough. And my wife, I know she doesn't want me using any of like her Pyrex, like glass cookware or anything. And I like for a heat source, I was thinking like maybe I could take like an iron I have and mount it upside down somehow because I don't have a hot plate or anything. And I don't want to bring like our griddle. We have like a little electric griddle that we use occasionally. I don't want to bring that down here. And it just struck me. I was like, well, we have a nice flat like heated surface. And like I would rather use like subtle heat instead of like extreme heat. Like I've seen guys that actually like get the acetone to boil in their container, and that seems like something I don't really want to be involved with, honestly. I mean, the whole reason I haven't tried smoothing PLA prints is because the chemicals are kind of nasty, and acetone isn't the worst. It's certainly not good for you to be exposed to a lot, but yeah, boiling it doesn't seem like something I want to be doing with my life. So we're going to not do it that way. But let's give it like another 60 seconds or so here. Angus used a rice cooker. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't seem like unreasonable, but it still just seems, I don't know. If we can sacrifice a little bit of print time and use our build plate, that seems like a really nice kind of system to have. Oh, that did not help the throat situation. No, but these are sweet. I don't think this Omni, I guess we could try this Omni and see if it will smooth it all. But I don't know if it, like chemically is at all the same as the ABS. All right, so let's go ahead and take that off here. And it is quite shiny already. I mean, we did have a lot of acetone in there. So I think you can see it's quite shiny. So I think I am going to take that out of here. And we'll sort of set it here to kind of chill out a little bit. I got to say, it kind of looks like our slider bonded already. Which I hope isn't the case. But it looks like it might be the case. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It kind of looks like it is. It's got a funny smell. It kind of smells like burning plastic. Peter says it works without heat. Yeah, like for streaming, I didn't want to try to like sit here for 3 hours and wait for it, so I wanted to try to use heat. And if we can get away with like if using a little heat can allow you to do this in like a few minutes like we're doing here, like we arguably should have maybe just left it out after that first time I checked it, because I know people have said that you basically want to get it to 75 to 80% of the overall smoothness that you want, and then it'll finish smoothing a bit as it like dries and cures a little bit. But I gotta say, this stream's gonna be short and sweet by the looks of it. Because I doubt we're gonna sit here the whole time and wait for this to like kind of cure and dry, but acetone boils at 50°C. I did not know that. Take a pillar and move the slider. We can try. Oh! Well, it moved. But it's definitely like gummy. Uh-oh. Maybe it'll be alright. Maybe it'll like harden up and we can just like rough that track back up there. But you can see I did move it, so it's not like permanently bonded, luckily. So it might be okay. You see it's up at the front there now. And it did, there's some little marks there. So I think I wish I would have timed this. Because if it is an art, you can kind of get like some temperature and time combos. Because like I said, that's at 100°C. And I'll go ahead and reset that. But no, this seems like really, really easy, honestly. I had wanted to do this for a long time because you guys are probably the same. There's a lot of prints where you just really want a nicer finish. And some prints, the detail doesn't matter a whole lot. It's about those like large, smooth surfaces that are hard to get to with like sanding and stuff. Plus, even with sanding, I don't think we'd be able to get a finish like that. You'd have to sand the hell out of it and then use like some kind of like lacquer or clear coat to get a finish quite that smooth. But no, very cool. It is a very cool effect. Yeah, this one's still a little soft. Like, it's dry to the touch and stuff, but like if I squeeze it, I can leave fingerprint marks in it. Move back to have space from both sides to force moving it. I guess we could do that. This one isn't, like, I can kind of already hold this without kind of putting marks in it. I think it's going to be fine. There, it's, now that this is tacked up a little bit, it's actually moving okay. I think it was just that initial place where it was resting. It kind of like bonded a tiny little bit. But overall, no, that's a very cool effect. You can see the finish on there. That is shiny as hell. But no, it's free already that the surface tacked up a little bit. But has anyone done this themselves? Like, how long should we let this sit before it kind of is cured? I would assume a few hours, maybe. Could probably put a fan or something on it. I guess we don't need the tinfoil anymore. But no, that's amazing that the effect is that significant that quickly. And like I said, you can see already that it's not completely hardened again, but it's enough that I'm not leaving fingerprints in it by touching it. I guess we could move that a little bit. That seems okay. It was a little stiff at first, but now that I wiggled it, seems to work aight. We probably should have taken this off. This part's removable. Like if you see on this one, it's just got like a pinch fit there. So like in hindsight, if there's any parts like that you can take off, that's probably a good idea to do so you don't have any bonding issues like we're kind of scared of happening. But also, I'll probably do a little video on this print, but I was having some trouble. Like if you saw this other one, I tied knots in the ends of the string to actually, you know, loop it around the things and through the carriage and stuff. With this larger one, I found an easier way. I just took the string and tied knots in the ends of it at approximately the right length, and then looped it through the hole and around the end, and then actually just like nested it in these slots. And it had a couple advantages. One, it's easy. It's easy to judge the length. And you can also like adjust the tension of the string by moving the slot that it's in. Like if you want it super tight, you can just like move it up another slot or two. In theory. I don't think it's... I had it pretty tight already, so we'll leave it where it is. And then just pull it up so the knot kind of like gets stuck in the little slot there. And it allows you to adjust the tension on your crossbow. I don't know how you'd want to, but it's like a lot of features. It sounds good when you say it, even though it's not necessarily like a practical thing you'll ever do. Wiggle it just a little bit. Mom, can I call you Mom? Mom said he usually leaves it about an hour. The Poly Smooth. The Poly Smooth seems sweet. Is that the... I think I got that confused the other day on stream. Is that the... that's the system with the little chamber and you have to use the special filaments and stuff, right? Hey, what's up, Rose Tech? But I need to get a pack of Bic pens. Or like number 2 pencils. They would also be pretty good to shoot. I don't have anything here to shoot. And the only pen I have is on the other side of the room now. Here's an F&M Trust Bank pen. That's a little too thick. Damn it. We have these lockpicks from yesterday. They kind of fit in there. Not really. That worked. Hey, what's up, Dawn? I fear for the safety of the webcam. I know I need to quit shooting it. Especially with some of the heavier stuff. I shot my X-Acto knife the other day. That was kind of fun and terrifying. Oh, the acetone made my sinuses kind of not so happy. Does the mixer still work? I just dropped a roll of filament down across it. Mic check. Checking the mic. Mic check. Greetings from Germany. Is that where you're at, Dawn? I don't think I ever realized you were in Germany. Make a bigger crossbow. I was trying to think about like the biggest I could do. Because this one is, I think, looks like it's about 7 inches across. Oh, hell, that's only like 5 inches. This one's 5 inches. And we can do, what, approximately 9.5? You have to see if I can print a big one. The problem is I don't have a lot of filaments that are really suited to these arms flexing. I had some of this Omni, but I used a good bit of it. So I only have like, I don't know, about that much left, which is not enough. That's probably not enough to even do... Yeah, I think this crossbow weighs more than this. I probably can't even do another one that size. And then this blue is the ABS we used on these ones. So I don't have enough to do that. I do have some of this polycarbonate. I haven't printed much with the poly. It seems like... Because these lockpicks we tried yesterday... it seems like they would handle the bending well. Like, I mean, if you see how far I'm bending that's a pretty significant bend without breaking. And then the cool thing is it doesn't actually, like, damage it. Like, it snaps right back and is straight even after bending it like that kind of aggressively. And you really have to bend it essentially in half. Like, there, you saw how far I bent that. And it really didn't do a whole lot of damage to it. Like, it's not white on that side. And with a little bit of pressure, it's like basically back exactly where it was. Just a minor little crease in there. But is otherwise still pretty mechanically strong. It's kind of surprising. So maybe this would be a good material for that. And I don't know. I doubt we could print like that whole, what I say, like 9.5 inches. But I could probably print one that's 50% bigger than this again. I guess that would be about 9 inches. More Germans here. What's up, guys? It's funny to me. I don't know if like the time slot I tend to stream in just works better for like Europeans and people elsewhere in the world. But it's always surprised me like how little of my audience is from the States. Like so many people are from like Europe and Australia and Madagascar. It kind of shocked me the first time I looked at like the demographic stats on YouTube. But no, I need to get a roll of I need to get a roll of ABS. I put it off for so long, and then after this first experience, it's really not that bad to print with. And I really liked this. This was the MG94 from Coex, and it's a high performance ABS with less warpage. And it really didn't smell bad. I was kind of nervous about like the smell, but that polycarbonate actually smelled worse than the ABS did, for sure. Guten Tag. So I don't know if you guys have printed. I know it probably varies from brand to brand with like the exact composition of the filament and stuff. But like I said, that polycarbonate smelled quite a bit more than this blue ABS did. So like I don't want to get in a rut. I'd like to order some of this MG94 in maybe a different color. Something, the obnoxiously bright colors tend to work good for streaming. But I don't really know if they sell this in too many colors, because I do like printing with this. And the nice thing is like if any of you have been here for a while, you know that I have a fairly cold basement. So it kind of concerned me. Like I was in Jatman, if anybody watches him, I was in Jatman's stream last night. And he was saying that sometimes even if a print looks good, if your ambient temp is low, the interlayer bonds might actually be kind of poor, even though the print looks okay. Nilla, are you going to get the MK2S? I plan on it, especially if it's relatively inexpensive. Like if it's only like $50, like they're saying, yeah, I'll definitely get it. If for no other reason, then I'll be able to do a video on like installing it and what's included and stuff. So I think they're taking pre-orders for it soon, or maybe it's actual orders and not pre-orders, but because I've wanted to replace the smooth rods for a while now, and it's kind of handy that you know they're going to do it themselves. Because I've gotten so close a couple times. Like the one day I had all the stuff in my cart and just like decided not to for whatever reason. I don't really know why. I didn't pull the trigger. But yeah, like Stefan said, at $50, it's like a no-brainer. Hopefully shipping's not too bad. And at such a low cost, we shouldn't have to pay like too many like import taxes and stuff. Because I think that's what, at like $800 or something like that is the cutoff for the States. Am I going for the multicolor? I really want to. It more or less depends on what my money situation is here in the next few weeks. We have a baby on the way and stuff, so we're trying to like get money set aside. So my what would you call that? Like my extra cash situation is a little stressed right now. What's the problem with the current rods? I don't know what the new ones are going to be, but the biggest thing is like the surface of the rods that come with the MK2 aren't super smooth. And like if you just move your Y carriage slowly, you can feel that they're not as smooth as like a polished hardened rod. And that's what most people buy if they do the upgrade. But I haven't actually looked, like personally looked, or maybe the info isn't even out yet about like specifically what rods come with the kits. But I would imagine it's just that kind of deal where it's they're just going to like a slightly higher quality finish on the rods. You can always bill the baby. Well, that'll be great when they're 18, but that's approximately 18 and a half years from now, so have to come up with a plan in the interim. But no, I don't know what else to do. I was expecting this to be, you know how my streams usually go. I was expecting like more problems. But yeah, that was actually really effortless and easy. Tom said in his video to use 1,000 grit sandpaper to smooth them. Oh, you could probably do that. Which kind of that does kind of illustrate one of the problems they have is that they're not really hardened. So if you can fairly easily like sand them to improve the finish, they pretty clearly weren't very hard in the first place. All right. Did I ever sort the scroll wheel out on the MK2? No, I didn't. They were supposedly putting that on like the to-do list for the firmware updates, but I was kind of expecting it to happen sooner. Uh, yeah, I was kind of expecting it. They said it might be a little while, but I wasn't expecting it to be this long. So I kind of put it off, hoping that they were just going to like address it in one of the actual like firmware updates. But I guess if it doesn't happen soon here, we'll probably just do it ourselves. As much as I want to like find out how the firmware is to deal with, but no. As far as I know, like their Prusa is aware of the problem, and I think there's a lot of people that have had it. At this point, I've kind of adjusted. I'm like super like hyper aware of it. Anytime I use the knob, I'm very careful to do very small turns and make sure I'm like looking at what's being selected as I push the button. And it seems like less of an issue now that we're 6 months, 7 months in. I don't know how long I've had it at this point, but it's kind of a pain because you have to be like so like super conscious of what you're doing every time you like use the knob at all. But it's not the worst. It's not the worst, I guess. Vince, yeah, if you have 5 more weeks, I would assume you will have most of the upgrades. I don't know, are they actually selling the S as like a separate entity on the site? I haven't looked. The surprise unload instead of load is always fun, yeah. It's been a little while since I've had any problems, but I remember on the one stream, we were trying to print something, and we sat here and we're like talking and doing other stuff like for an hour and a half waiting on this print, when I suddenly realized that it was not the right print. It had like jogged down to the next print whenever I was selecting it, and we printed the wrong file. But luckily, I haven't had that. Happen with any like super long prints. Luckily, that was only like a 2.5 hour print, so it wasn't like the end of the world, but it is a pain. So on the site, okay, so they're not selling the 2S as like a separate entity. So I would assume if you buy an MK2, I guess I shouldn't assume, but I would imagine that they're just going to like include those improvements in versions going forward. Though I do wonder if they're going to raise the price at all, because I would imagine these smooth rods cost more than the old ones. So I don't know if they like anticipate raising the price at some point, or if they're just going to keep it at $6.99 or whatever it is. You need to set up an Octopi. Yeah, I do. I definitely do. Like I said, I wanted to get a bunch of that stuff, but with a baby on the way and stuff, like finances have just been like a little strained lately. getting everything. Like my wife has been crazy buying diapers and stuff. Like she wants to be super prepared for the second kid. Dawn, you need help designing your Patreon page. I can help you out a little bit if you want to send me a message. I'm certainly not a professional. Like I don't think mine looks bad, but it's certainly not the best I've ever seen. I need I need to put like a video and stuff up and like some images, and it's kind of a pain they don't have image hosting on Patreon. That it like blows my mind. You need to have like external hosting for any images you use, which is kind of crazy. How are the Dungeoneering vids going? Slow. Slow, Dickie. Hopefully, because we're probably gonna not have a super long stream today. We're gonna keep this short and sweet, but uh, hopefully I get the next video in the series finished today. Hopefully, I'm really hoping. Um, I've been like it's just I don't know if anybody saw that impromptu stream I did yesterday. I didn't keep it up on the channel, but I am still like a complete noob when it comes to shooting videos because I always do things and then I'm not happy with it, so I do reshoots and it just like takes me forever to do stuff. You just replace your Pi 2 with a Pi 3 and it's faster and more stable. That's cool. I know I have a friend of mine that finally took the plunge and bought a Pi and is making like a retro Pi, and his mind has been blown. He's like a lot of people. He was just kind of surprised by like the processing power that it has for how small it is. Like it wasn't that long ago that little integrated circuits like that or integrated processors like that weren't really that impressive. All orders shipped from March 3rd are the MK2S. That's kind of cool. Rose Tech, you've been trying to do a video. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's fairly straightforward, but it's like hard to get things you're happy with. Like if you're picky, I'm a little picky, probably pickier than I should be. Because I think most people on YouTube like recommend you just get stuff done. You know, you just try to like get things done and get experience and like improve that way instead of like concerning yourself too damn much about like the particulars of everything you do when you're starting. But yeah, it's a reality check for most people. It seems like you just like record stuff and you just keep recording until you get the cuts you want and then you cut it together and like done with it, but it's a little tough. That's why I said yesterday when I was doing some stuff like behind the scenes kind of stuff. That's why I said YouTubers that put out content regularly, especially like daily, that is so impressive to me. Like I have so much respect for guys that do that. Like somebody like I mean, just keeping it in the 3D printing community, like Tom's videos and Angus's videos, they deserve so much more respect than they get for like the production quality and the overall quality of their videos, because I think a lot of people think you just like throw up a camera and record some stuff and you're good to go, and it's so much harder than that. Especially like Tom. Tom has like fantastic production qualities. And as far as I know, he didn't go to like school for that or anything. It's just, you know, doing stuff. You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and make sure like you keep like progressing and getting better. And Joel, yeah, I mean Joel makes good videos. But man, there's so many of Tom's videos that he makes and it just like blows my mind how good his production quality is. But no, all three of them make good videos. I think they're all like a huge asset to the community. Yeah, and like mom said, if you watch Tom's early videos, like if you go back and watch videos from a few years ago, you can see that he's just made like slow, steady progress. And his early videos were fine, but it's like a lot of people. You can tell like he's a lot more comfortable on camera now. He's a lot more like thoughtful about the way he shoots things and like the shot compositions and stuff. Like yeah, he's definitely like an inspiration for a number of reasons. Made in German quality. Yeah, I wish I had the same cameras that Tom has because they're a lot better. Like I have a really nice DSLR that basically costs the same as the ones he uses, but mine's not the best for video. But I think it's all right. I just need more experience. Yeah, like 3D Maker Noob, he makes, especially considering like how, um, like he hasn't done things for a real long time if I remember correctly, and yeah, his production quality is really high. Some of it just like depends on your personality. Um, some people are a lot pickier than others, which I don't think is like, like I'm not criticizing people who don't care as much because some people just like make good content that, the production quality isn't the focus like the content itself is. But some people are just picky, and it usually shows in the stuff they do. And like I try to be picky, but I try to like balance it with like actually getting things accomplished. So, uh, hopefully it shows in like I think the stream looks okay. Uh, I'm not like overly concerned with how amazing the stream looks. Like I think my lighting's a little ghetto, and I need to do some improvements with that and stuff. But hopefully, like the recorded videos I did are okay. Like I hope they age well. I hope I don't look back in a couple years and like, man, that's terrible. But I probably will. I think it's inevitable. I guess you kind of hope for that to happen because that means you've improved dramatically. So I guess I shouldn't say that. Hopefully, I look back and think, man, that's shit. Because that means my stuff in the future will be awesome. But yeah, thanks, Robert. Hopefully, it's not too bad. I don't have a ton of experience. I think that's like the biggest thing most people have going against them. And you're just kind of like trying to make do with what you have. And like, there's some things I'd like to improve. Like, I'd like to get rid of this freaking mic and get like a nice like wireless lav mic or something. But some stuff's so expensive. Like I had a little bit of money set aside and I wanted to get like a wireless lav mic, but like some of the cheapest options available that are actually worth owning are like $400 and $500. So it's a little tough to take that plunge. Look back and remember when you had hair. That's looking back quite a while, man. I started losing my hair in like high school. Oh, thanks, Geek. Like I said, I try. My lights are just like can lights from Lowe's, like a home improvement store. With I found parchment paper like for baking is a really good light diffusion material, and that's what I use for most things. It softens the light a little bit. I do need to get some light boxes at some point though because it makes such a big difference with like these lights cast a lot of shadows and light boxes help with that like a lot because it's a larger light source so there's less shadows and stuff. But you like the mic. But no, luckily this went well. I think this part looks good. Now that it's hardened up, I think it looks good. It's unfortunate. I wish I would have moved that slider a little sooner. I guess you could always come back with like a Q-tip and like the few spots on here that kind of aren't as pretty as we might hope they'd be. Sorry if I'm talking funny. Like I'm all stuffed up today. I don't know what the deal is. Uh, but there's a couple. Focus, you bastard. Focus. Does that have autofocus on? Maybe autofocus isn't on. I'm like here asking it to do something. Oh yeah, autofocus isn't even on. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, but there you can see there's just some marks there where this carriage kind of bonded briefly. And I'll probably, after this cures a little bit more, I'll probably take a Q-tip with a tiny little bit of acetone and just dab it on there and smooth it out and see if I can get rid of those marks. But beyond that, no, this looks good. Super, super shiny. I guess if that's what you're going for in a print, this is the way to do it. And these don't feel like super spongy like they do in this other one. I mean, this other one is about as smooth as something could be, but it's also no longer functional, which is a bit of a problem. Yeah, I think that's like not salvageable. But you can see it's just like weird and soft. It just soaked up too much acetone. And these things are super, super soft. But lesson learned. Luckily, this wasn't a print I actually cared about, so no big loss. Close-up of hand stab. Do you want me to stab myself? We'll save that for another day, maybe. I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Mario, you got a Life Cam and a Logitech. Which Logitech do you have? Because I used to have a 920, which a lot of people say is okay, and it is okay. It's okay. But then I got a 930, a 930E, and the video quality on those is not bad at all. Because that's what both these cams are now. As far as like the detail loss, it's a little tough to see on this print, but like these were really sharp edges, and you can see they're just slightly rounded now. I mean, there's not a huge detail loss. This still looks like dimensionally, really solid and well defined. But this print probably isn't a good piece to look at for like detail loss. I guess I have enough of that filament left to try and print something a little more detailed and see how much it like affects it. You can definitely tell in this print, like this print is super kind of puffy and round looking. It like totally killed the square edges and stuff. Everything's kind of rounded. Like look how rounded that is underneath where it was kind of like sagging a bit. Which, depending on what you're doing, like that could be an effect you're going for. I mean, depending on what the part is, this might be exactly what you're looking for. Like you maybe do want to be like super heavy-handed with the acetone. Like I could see maybe if you're doing like organic stuff, like organic shapes and stuff where the detail is kind of irrelevant. But no, it's definitely like a nice technique to have access to. I guess we could try... Let's try this one before we go. I'll preheat the... We'll preheat that bed to 100 again, and we still have this container that's plenty full of acetone. Yeah, that's still... Oh, God. You definitely want a well-ventilated area. Where did I get the webcam mount? The mount... this thing... This is just like a cheap-ass lamp that I had from, like, Walmart. And I took the stuff off. It's a little hard to see. And these webcams have this little, like... I don't know what you'd call it. Like a little folded up mount on the bottom, and it's just actually zip tied to the flat surface on here. And it was meant to be kind of like a stopgap at first, but it ended up working quite well for most of the things that we do. The lamp base and stuff's a little heavy and awkward to use, but in general, this little cam has served me fairly well, and it was a cheap solution. And the camera over there has one of those quick release mounts that just came with my tripod. It's like a $40 Sony tripod that had a quick release mount on it, and it just has there's a pretty universal little screw under there that fits most cameras, and it has one of those kind of things. and you just screw it into the bottom of this thing that comes on the webcam. Fairly straightforward. I kind of don't want to cut my string, but I guess we have to get this out. So we'll take this, and like I said, this is the Omni. I don't know at all if this will smooth with this like acetone process, but we'll give it a try. We're going to lean back this time because that is rough. Oh, that is stinky. It's such like an angry smell. And it's not even hot anymore. Like, it was really, really bad when it was hot. So, yeah, if you're sensitive to, like, the smell of acetone, watch yourself. Check yourself before you acetone wreck yourself. So we'll throw it in there, and we'll just, like, set it back here for a minute or two. Hopefully it'll... I mean, it would be cool if the Omni kind of smooths a bit, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if it does nothing. Because I don't think PLA really reacts. Oh, these cheap-ass Tupperwares are the worst. Did we use this one? Yeah, we used this one. This lid fits better. Damn it, now I got in the wrong one. So let's switch it over to this one. This lid is hard to get on there. Same deal, just kind of setting it on our tray. I'm going to have to take that outside and set it. Man, that is rough. And we'll hit this with a tiny little bit of acetone again. Hopefully not getting it on our print. And do be careful, because this stuff is flammable. Oh no, we got some on there. It's definitely reacting to the acetone. I did not want to drip that on there, but we kind of did. I wouldn't be surprised if this smooths a little bit, this Omni. Because it did kind of immediately soften. Alright, so we'll set it in here. Again, well, I guess we'll go ahead and take this little piece off. Like we had talked about. Set it in there, looks good. And we'll just give this like a minute or two. Who needs rum and Coke now? I wish I had some. I'm all out. All I have, I think the only alcohol in the house right now is some Manischewitz. Some Passover wine. But we'll set that on there. We'll give it 2 minutes and see what it looks like. Because I don't want to ruin that print. That's my fun print. You'll have to check out your videos, video then, Dawn. You should try without the paper towel. Oh, I probably should have, Gaston. Probably should have, but... We've gone too far now. It's funny, I looked at my phone, I forgot to note the time. Okay. It's about a minute left. We'll check that in about a minute. And, because that Omni prints so great because it essentially uses, like, PLA settings, if I remember correctly. I can't reach. Yeah, it's essentially PLA settings. Because I think I'm going to be picking some more of this up. It's nice to have essentially like a PLA, because it's 195 to 215 on the hot end. and to have like the kind of flexibility of ABS without having to deal with like the temperatures. But yeah, I need to like I wish I could stream like later in the evening. Maybe I'll have to try that sometime cuz I wish I could drink more on stream, but it's a little tough to do at 10 a.m. Little tough to get inebriated that early in the day. Cuz like usual, I always have to go pick my daughter up at like 4 o'clock, so don't want to show up at the babysitter's smelling like alcohol. It's not a good look on anyone. Man, oh man, for Manischewitz. Yeah, it was kind of funny. Like when I was growing up and people were drinking wine, I always kind of envisioned it like grape juice with alcohol in it. And then I tasted wine for the first time, and that is not what wine tastes like. Um, so that was a huge disappointment. I just wanted like grape juice with alcohol in it, and that is almost exactly what Manischewitz is. I think it's like 50% or more Concord grape juice and then alcohol. So that is right up my alley. Yeah, like webcams are tough because like in your settings you have exposure and gain, and the lower you have your exposure settings, like the quicker, just like Stefan said, the quicker the actual frame rate of the camera will be. Like it has a rating, but the actual exposure time will kind of dictate like how frequently the frame refreshes. Oh yeah, time. Shit. Oh no. Oh, it didn't really do too much. Oh, that smell. Ooh, that smell. You can feel like it's not doing nothing, but it's also not really doing something. Let's give it a few more minutes. Let's give it some more time. I should throw a little more acetone in there. I think most of it did evaporate. Or we can do, let's try taking the paper towels out. Yeah, I think most of our acetone evaporated because that's basically dry in there. So maybe that's the problem. And don't do like I did. Take your part out before you put acetone in. So not a lot in there. Just enough that it's like swishing around in the bottom a little bit. And then we'll set our little piece in here, a little tray. And our crossbow. And our little piece. Let's give that a minute. I'm just kind of surprised, like how effectively the heat bed transfers heat into that Tupperware. I was like afraid it was going to be like too insulated, being plastic, but it seems to work fairly well. You bought yourself an iMaker Start? Is that a printer for 99 pounds? What is that, like 130 or 40 US? Stink fingers. Yeah, no comment. No comment. We'll keep it highbrow in here, Dawn. Like always. We're always very highbrow on this channel. Cheapo sweet wines. It seems to be the case, like with like liquor and rum and stuff. Like I do appreciate the more expensive ones in general, but with wines, it seems to be that the cheaper a wine is, the more likely I am to like it. Some of the most expensive expensive wines I've ever tried, I thought tasted like garbage, like actual garbage water. $99. Is that a printer though? Is that what that is? A 3D printer? I don't think I've ever heard of that. There's quite a few printers out there now. It's hard to keep up. That's why I was kind of batting around the idea of doing like a weekly news video kind of thing when like 3D printing. Because I'm sure there's people out there like me that are interested in the community in general, but don't really have the time to scour the internet all the time to like keep up with things. Cheap educational printer, no heated bed. I think you can get away without a heated bed for a lot of things. There's actually been some things that I don't bother turning on the heat bed on this, but it's hard to not just use it if you have it, even if you turn it down. Like sometimes I'll turn it down to like 40C, 35C when it's not really necessary. Like I don't think that Omni I don't think this Omni requires like a heat bed, but I think I still put it on like 35 or 40C. But there's so much cool stuff that happens. There's so many cool little like news stories that you don't really have to take much time on, but it would be nice to have like a little video that came out oh my god, regularly. Robert cons his way to being a millionaire by selling fancy wines. Time to check the crossbow. Yeah, we'll check it. Get another blast of acetone here. Yeah, still not much happening. We'll give it another couple minutes. Oh god, that smell. When it's hot, it just like punches you in the face. Yeah, Rose Tech, if nothing else, like even some of the super cheap, shitty kits, at the very least, it's a nice little collection of parts if you want to scrap it and do something else with it. Or like if you're into like electronics or anything, you can make something out of it. Like Tom, he used a little 3D printer controller board and stuff and some stepper motors to make a little camera slider. Stuff like that. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with those components. So, all right, we'll give this 4 minutes. 4 minutes, we'll check this, and then we'll call it a day. Are there any questions or anything anybody had while we're sitting here chatting? There were some news stories. Like I said, there are some news stories I'd like to discuss, but we'll save that. You could do yeah, like that. A PCB mill would be pretty sweet. The upgrade kit will be up next week for around $50. That's sweet. If that is the case, I will definitely pick one up. Hopefully they don't get back ordered or anything crazy, because there's probably going to be a lot of demand for those. Hopefully they're ready for it. I'll try to keep an eye on the Prusa site and see when they go up and try to get my order in early. Can I magically speed up the shipping times? I cannot, unfortunately. What is the best and private way to contact me? If you have Facebook, there's like a Nillabean Facebook page that like I respond to in a fairly timely manner. Twitter, I guess Twitter's not private. Can you do private stuff on Twitter? I'm like a total Twitter noob. But Facebook's probably the easiest. Because I have emails and stuff, but I don't ever check them. I did just see, there is something we can do here. I did just see I got a 3D Hubs order. I forgot about that. I've had my 3D hubs up for like several months, but I like kind of purposefully set my prices kind of high. I don't even remember what my info is on here. Oh, log in. I don't remember my stuff. Do I? Oh, saved in my browser. Fantastic. Can't beat that. Because I don't... Do any of you use 3D hubs? I've never done anything on here before. I have no idea what this is. But this is... I don't think there's any problem showing this. But this is the part I just got an order for. I don't know what that is. It says it's for the MK2 or something. No clue what that is. That doesn't look terrible to print. That's got a pretty wicked overhang there. I guess you could kind of orient the print. Can you move this? Can you rotate it like that? I can't really... Like, maybe you could print it upright like that. Maybe that would be the best way. I don't know. But interesting. I guess that'll be my first 3D hubs experience. Ooh. Because that, I don't know, that's what, like... Oh, that is a really small part. That's only 24 by 28 by 14 millimeters. Interesting. I'll have to, like, do an update on how that goes. If I print it upright... that's true. If you print it upright, the clip will snap off because the layer lines will be not the way you'd really want them. All right, so let's check this. It's been about 5 minutes, and I think at this point, if it's going to do anything, it will have started to do it by now. Nope, not really. And we definitely had good vapor in there. Like, there's condensation on the lid and stuff. Oh, God, that smell. I don't know how I keep forgetting. Whew. But yeah, that did essentially nothing. Essentially nothing, which I guess isn't the worst. It's better than, like, something bad happening. I mean, it doesn't really look any different, honestly. It feels warm. And this part's a little squeaky. But that's about it. Nope. Okay, so Omni is not affected by acetone. I was just kind of thinking maybe it would be, because I had dripped a little bit of acetone. I mean, you can't really see it, but like the corner there was a little bit of a drip. And it did kind of smooth it. Like, you can kind of sort of see that there. But I was thinking because of that, maybe it was going to do something, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So Omni is not acetone smoothable. It did make everything, like, kind of squeaky. Which is kind of funny, but even those are like... So I think it softened it a tiny little bit, so I'll let that sit and dry before I mess with it too much and, like, kind of cure again, but nope, Omni is not smoothable, it seems. How much Smell is good practice for baby changing. Uh, like we have a 2-year-old daughter. Nothing that ever came out of her body smells like that. We're not actually doing cold acetone, Rob. I don't know if maybe you like joined late, but we're actually using the heated build plate on the MK2 because we did successfully smooth. We did smooth this part just a little bit ago because this is actual ABS, and you can see it's shiny as all hell. And this only took a few minutes using the heated build plate at 100C. But this is the Omni. This is more like a PLA that has the qualities of ABS, because like normal PLA wouldn't flex like that. That's why the Omni's kind of cool. But this isn't actually ABS, and I was just curious if it was maybe like a crossover as far as like the composition of the filament. Maybe we could smooth it a little bit, but seems to not be the case. Yeah, because I had I guess you also didn't see this. I did a test a little bit before we started the stream, and I was thinking it was going to take a long time, so I let this in there for like a half hour, like 25 or 30 minutes, and it melted it like crazy. There was actually like drips of blue in the paper towel inside the little container, and it just like annihilated this print. Like these are still soft. These tips are still kind of like puffy and soft. I guess it's going to take a couple hours for this to dry back out, but yeah, and it just like it's super super soft, and you can see it wants to like tear. But yeah, the heat bed is definitely enough of a heat source, it seems, which is cool. It saves you having to use like a hot plate or anything. But no, to the person that asked about the 3D hubs, I have the numbers right here. So I had a $5 startup cost, which covers like setting up your slice settings and stuff. And then it's like, it looks like at the default pricing, that part's like an 88-cent part because it's only, hell, that's less than an inch by like a half inch. That's a tiny little part. So it's like $5 plus like basically $1 for the part, and then the $4 shipping, which comes to what is that? So basically like I'll make, well, how does that work? So basically I will receive $9 and it'll cost me I charge $3.99 for shipping, but realistically it'll cost about $2.70, I think, for first rate or first class. So, I don't know, like $7 for a part. I guess it's similar in size to this little green thing. Just like filled in a little bit more. It's pretty close to that size. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems fair as long as it's, like I said, that part looks like it might, hopefully it's not a problem to print. I guess I'll try to do it today. Like I said, I'm going to try to get some videos done today, damn it. I've been falling like way behind. But yeah, I'll have to try to print that today. Hopefully it all goes well. I think it's just in PLA, which makes it easier. I think it's in gunmetal. Hopefully I have some of that. Yeah, I got some over there. But no, since I finally got an order, maybe I'll do a really, really short video on like my experience using it. Because I sell stuff on eBay, so like shipping isn't that big of a deal. Who said that? Did I accept the order? No, I didn't accept it yet. I'll accept it. Like I said, I'll pull the file in. Especially with a part that small, it might be best to try to go ahead and print it. I don't know if they let you download the STL. I assume they do, so you can kind of like take a look at the print. But if I can download the STL, I'll probably try to print it first, and then if it prints okay, I'll accept the order. And then if it doesn't, you know, I'm out like a couple cents worth of filament and maybe 15 or 20 minutes of my time. But give it a try. because I actually haven't seen much content about people talking about their experience with 3D hubs. I mean, I haven't really searched it out, but yeah, I haven't really seen many people comment on it. But no, I guess that's it. We'll keep this relatively short. An hour 20 is short for one of our streams, but no, I think this was a successful day. I kind of was expecting to have more problems than this. That's not a bad. Well, I guess technically this is my first effort. I was going to say that's not a bad first effort. This is a bad first effort, but we're going to ignore that. That's garbage. But this actually isn't bad. I personally am not a huge fan of the absurdly shiny print, really. But it is kind of cool to be able to hide the layer lines and stuff. Like if you wanted to paint this, then you could paint it with like a flat or matte paint, which actually you probably couldn't because it's going to flex so much, it'd probably just break off. But no, I think that's a decent first venture into acetone smoothing. Yes, it definitely looks shiny. It looks super shiny. I personally don't like it that much, but there's probably a lot of prints where this would be like an appropriate finish, I guess. It's a shame you can't get the smoothing effect without getting the absurd glossiness. It'd be nice if somebody came up with a technique to smooth it with like a satin finish. But I guess you can't really complain. It's pretty cool to be able to do this to a print. But all right, everyone, I guess that's it. I'm not gonna durdle here too long. Thanks for stopping in. We'll put our piece back on here. Hopefully this helps someone. I don't think there's any shortage of like content on how to do this necessarily, but like a lot of stuff we do, hopefully this will like encourage someone to try it for themselves since we did it. And it's actually not too bad, especially since we can just use our printers with our heat beds instead of having to get like a hot plate out or do anything that seems kind of dangerous. Like someone said, Angus used a rice cooker, but I already use enough of my wife's like Tupperware and stuff. I don't think she's going to want me using the rice cooker to do stuff with acetone with. So yeah, it's nice to be able to know that it's not that difficult to do as long as you have a cheap container and stuff. And if you're like me, I always have acetone on hand anyway because it's like a handy solvent to have around. But yeah, very cool. Backtrack to see the rest of the stream. Yeah, luckily that's why I want to keep it like not super long. I could easily sit here and talk for like another hour, but we'll keep it as concise as possible. But yep. Hopefully there's at least one video up tomorrow. I'm gonna try my damnedest to get some stuff done. It's still fairly early in the day. It's only 12 o'clock. I'm gonna try to get some stuff done, and I'm gonna quit slacking. I promise. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. And if there's anybody here that hasn't subbed, I recognize most of the names here, so you're probably almost all subs. But if anybody hasn't subbed, consider it. We do streams like this twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday at approximately 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. If a different time works better for somebody, go ahead and drop a comment because I think I would like to try to mix it up. Since I stream twice a day, maybe do one stream at like 10 a.m. and then the other stream at like another time if that works better. But we'll see. We'll keep trying to keep things fresh and make things work for everybody. So, yep, Rose Tech, Dickie, Frederick, Dawn, K-Bear, Peter, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Peace.